Yes, my name is Dominic. This is United Sauce and Wingers. Welcome. This is the live match reaction after we draw 0-0 to Liverpool away. There's mixed reactions. I can already tell you before we came on camera, there's some mixed reactions, so you're going to enjoy this video. Before we go any further, please like, subscribe if you're new. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let's do this, baby. Hello, my name is Dominic. This is United Sauce and Wingers. We have some main night guests on today. We've got Sean. How you doing, Sean?
Yeah, I'm good, my man. What's cracking?
All good, man. Nate, are you good?
As good as we can be.
Good as you can
Let's
be.
go, bro.
Yeah, not too bad, bro. Not too bad.
Guys, thanks so much for coming on. We just like to keep it real, get straight into it and understand how we're all feeling. This show, I called it essentially why I'm so essentially that I'm proud of my United team. And I put United as a play on word that I felt like the team was united today. And I'm proud of them and why I think it was a huge point. So really to get this kicked off, let me tell you my view on it, right? This was always going to be a difficult game. Liverpool are Premier League and Champions League winners. They're no just easy team to play against, right? They dominate the ball and they have a manager who is probably one of the best managers in the world, right? If not one of the best managers in the world, okay? So for me, I knew that they were going to dominate the ball. They had a few chances in the first half, but to see my team weather the storm and actually, really, we should have won that game, I'm seeing improvement. Don't get me wrong, for next season, we need more than this, 100%. But we are going through this developmental stage where I'm only seeing improvement. I felt that we could have won that game, and that's the most important thing you should be thinking about. Everything else is just hearsay. We gave Liverpool a game. We should have won that match, so that is improvement. Look, I want 3 points. Who doesn't want 3 points? But you've got to take the point. Understand that now we're going to Fulham with confidence, knowing that we gave Liverpool everything they tried to give us and we should have won. So be happy. Be happy that we showed determination, that we could have scored, that Bruno could have scored, even though he didn't have a great game. Pogba could have scored. Luke Shaw was the best I've ever seen him in my life. I call him Judge Dredd. You can't get past him. We should do a drug test for Luke Shaw because the guy was on smoke. It was unbelievable. So, guys, for me personally, I'm happy. Of course, I want the 3 points, but we're going on a journey and I'm willing to give Ollie that time and the team that time because I'm seeing so much positive development. Let's go over to, quickly, just before we go and get some other people's views. Sandro, I'm actually disappointed we didn't win. Less shots than Liverpool. Just quickly on that, to be disappointed that you didn't win, I think that's amazing. That's fantastic feeling. Yes, be disappointed. Just to let you know, we're playing Liverpool, by the way, away. Fantastic. Less shots than Liverpool, but we were more dangerous anyway. Should have been them in the net. Rashford and Bruno, a bit wasteful, but we move on. Sandro, I love that positive energy. Well done, man. This result will be better if City drop points today. Carl Lewis, he's always decisive with his comments. Rashford played 10 games in 34 days. He's tired. Give him a long-deserved rest on the bench until we get that together.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Yeah,
send him to the Bahamas or Butlins. Oren, our high-profile strikers' decisions making Dan's James level. Ooh, if I speak, I get abused. Jeez. Kliss, I'm okay with the draw, but felt we could have won. Me too. Me too, Kliss. Physio D, Sean Pogba are our best players today, without a doubt. Aiden, let me come to you, man. How do you feel about that result?
I feel like I do respect everyone that's saying that it's a good point, but I feel like if you're saying it's a good point, like we could have won that game, well, are you not saying that we had these indications since Sevilla? Like for me, I'm going to say it like flat. The same reasons why we lost the game today was the same. Drew the game today was the same reason why we lost to Sevilla. There's no difference. We had chances, we didn't finish them, we didn't have the mentality, and we didn't have the strikers to finish them. And for me, you could say all about progress, but yet are we going to wait almost a year to not lose? The only progress we've made since Sevilla in that is we're not losing. That's the only difference for me in big games. Like, our big game record is we haven't won against any top six this season. We've lost versus Leipzig and PSG. We've lost versus Man City, and now we've drew versus Liverpool. So what indications do I have that we're going to go along and do well in big games this season? I don't have any. So I think it's all good and well to say, well, look, we won. But are you just going to ignore the factors that have been there since Sevilla? Because they haven't changed. Not finishing chances, not having the mentality, and players not being tidy with the ball. So that's just my opinion. So I don't think anything's changed really.
Aiden, I get that, man. And just before we go to Sean and then AG, I guess on that one, the progress what I've seen, just coming back to you on there, is that we're beating the smaller teams where we can never beat them normally. And if you're playing a long season, you play more smaller teams than big teams. Don't get me wrong. We should be going further in the Champions League. We should be going further in Carabao and getting a trophy. But we have to understand where we are. And no one can say that there's no progress overall because
there is, overall.
We're first at the moment. We might not be after 2 Man City games, but there's progress. So for me, we have to take it in small doses. Understand that even though we're not winning big trophies, I've never seen this team so united as they are now. Manchester United are united. They're playing today with a different sort of swagger and belief that, wait a minute, I don't get this in Liverpool. I'm away from home. I think we could beat them, and we could have beat them. So that's where I come from that. Sean, what's your thoughts, man?
Bro, you know what? My overriding sentiment today is I'm disappointed. I feel that Liverpool were there for the taking. And I'm disappointed because I feel as though we did everything that we needed to do in that game to be able to come away with the 3 points, except obviously in that the 2 chances that we had to be a little bit more composed and put them away. We defended solidly throughout the game. We knew Liverpool were going to dominate the game at Anfield, which they do against 99% of the teams. That shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. We're not going to go there and dominate the ball. Even under the glory days of Sir Alex, we never went to Anfield and dominate. I think there's only one game where we've actually done that, and that was under Van Gaal when we won 2-1 and went there and had 65% possession. In history, other than that, it never happens. So I looked at that as all we needed to do. We defended solidly. De Gea did not have a save to make.
You did nothing.
We just needed to put the 3 point, put the final touch on there, and we're not quite there yet. But having said that, under the bigger picture, if you go back 12 months and look at the performance at Anfield last season, it's chalk and cheese, right? We're top of the table in any season. If you go to Anfield and take away a point, you've got to be satisfied. You've got to be happy with that because in the grand scheme of things, that is a very good point. They're unbeaten in 67 matches, people. Let's put that into perspective. They've not lost there in, I think it's now 3-4 years. So, you know, I'm disappointed because I felt like we should have won. And I said before, if we won that game, I would have been certain. It's a certainty that we're going and win the title. Now I just feel like we're in the race. It's progress, but to be honest, it's all to play for. So brush that under the carpet, move on to the next game, and let's go from there.
Sean, I love that, man, because I'm glad that you're disappointed. I'm glad you're frustrated because that shows progress. And that shows that we should have won that match. I'm glad if you came in and went, oh, Jesus, that was lucky. That's not good. So I'm glad that you're looking at how this game felt right now, but also the bigger picture. Okay, obviously we're going somewhere, but it's going to take time. I get that. Neji, what's your thoughts, man?
Nah, not happy, bro. Ultimately, wasn't happy from the start, but I'll be honest. The team defended well, but I expect that team that gets put out when your spine looks like Lindelof, Maguire, McTominay, Fred. Like I don't expect anything creative going forward from CDM forward. So I already knew what type of game I was in for, and I wasn't looking forward to it. And lo and behold, it was one of those games. Now I look at Liverpool. This Liverpool team had no Van Dijk, arguably, in my opinion, as well, the world's best defender in that team. If they have a full fit team, a full functioning cog, United do not stand a chance. I'm telling you now, they would not be standing a chance at all. That was a weak Liverpool team, a tired Liverpool team, and we had 11 of our strongest players we could have even played. So if we're going there thinking that that's a good point, I'm sorry. So that to me that isn't a good point because you got to look at the manner in which you get points first and foremost. Then you got to look at the team that you're playing. This Liverpool team is not the best Liverpool team that I've been playing. It's the same Liverpool team that lost to drop points against West Brom and Southampton. And if you look at the teams that have actually managed to pick up those points, who are those smaller teams, look at how they play football against Liverpool. They sat back, bang, one over the top. We couldn't even do that today. And yes, individual efforts and chances can be, can be had by others, but it's a continuous thing that certain players don't have a football IQ when it comes to those pitchy parts of the pitch. And if you're not consistent doing the right things on the pitch, it's gonna come to a stage where you need it. You're not gonna be able to do it. and people are just letting these other players off with it. Now, to me, that is not a standard that I'm happy with. Other people can be happy with it. That's cool. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's Ollie. You know, I'm still Ollie in, but this is why I said Ollie for the rebuild, not Ollie forever. Because when I talk about forever, right, I'm talking about a future style of football. Most of our goals that we've been celebrating this season have come from CDM with balls being pinged over the top or some individual brilliance. That's probably about 60% of our goals, if we're being honest. I don't know the actual numbers, but go check it. That is a high percentage of balls and goals that we score in that type of manner. If Pogba goes, you are not getting those balls from CDM. You're not getting them. So that's going to force you to play a certain way. Now, if you're Bruno and Bruno had a shocker today, but this is in hindsight now, of course, based on today's game, but previous games, as facts, if you're Bruno and you're playing with Scott McTominay and Fred, who run around like headless chickens with no football IQ, and you're telling Bruno he has to go and mark a certain person on defense, there's going to be no progress next season for that because Bruno's going to be out of position. If you look at Kevin De Bruyne, very, 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 very rarely is he been having to track back in certain areas because there is a system that is able to play and suit around his playing style. Bruno has a playing style. Don't get me wrong. Today he was trash. He was awful. Say what you want to say. He was poor. He'll admit that himself. That's probably why he was vexed at the end, and rightly so. Do you know what I mean? That's nice to see. But for me, that Liverpool team today, if they had a strong 11, I feel like we're papering over the cracks. I'll be honest, but based on this game in this 90 minutes, Ollie got it wrong for me because there's a team there to be able to take him out, and it was the same thing against City when we lost 2-0. The only fact that they took their little chances, and they weren't. And if you think about it, City's goals weren't even typical City goals. We can defend all we want, but top teams are going to put you in the bin, and that's going to dent on your confidence. So poor game for me.
Thanks, Deji. All right, let's go to the comments then. Let's go. Obviously, you've got a complete mixture of Haribos there. You got a couple of eggs, a couple of hearts, a couple of rings there. Everybody's got a different view. And that's why football's so amazing. Everybody's got an opinion. We're going to come and talk about it. It's going to be loads to talk about. Jesus, mercy. I'm never going to have dinner tonight. Here we go. So we need to sort out our attack. Sometimes Rashford on the left, right wing, centre forward, Martial, centre forward, right wing. And then Bruno's occasionally waits for the ball. Yeah, it's a bit wishy-washy. I get that. Kelly, Pogba at right wing, limited in my opinion. Yeah, it's hard. It is hard. He's not a right winger. He's not a right winger. We know that. We're playing him to do a certain formation, but we're never going to get the best Paul Pogba there. We know that. But because he's world class, he actually did a job there. I think he actually played really well. Sandro, silly comparison between Sevilla and Liverpool. Difference, we are top of the league. Last season, we beat all the top 6 almost, and we're 24 points to Liverpool. That's a fair point. Well said, Dominic. Thanks, man. You're here. Yes, we had a better chance and it could be a good point in the long run, but I don't know. I just don't see a clear style. It's frustrating, but we should have won, in my opinion. I think everybody can agree with that to some extent. Spiritual Alexei will never win a big game with Ollie in charge. He never knows when to take opportunities. And the last one, I'm convinced that Bruno needs to come off the bench in big games. We did not score because we didn't keep the ball defensively solid, though. Look, guys, it's a hard one because we all feel differently. Like, listen to everybody's comments, I get it. Like, no one wants to bottle a game essentially, or no one wants to see that clear progress. But in the grand scheme of things, I know, Nate, you said a point that no one should be happy with this point. I think we have to also, and I know that they had 2 centre backs that weren't centre backs. I get that, but this is still Liverpool. This is
not
still
Liverpool, bro.
It's not them. It's not them.
Let me say my point.
Yeah.
When I say this is still Liverpool, I'm saying that Liverpool have a record at home, right? And the one thing that they have that will never change right now, and the consistency, is a team way of playing and a very world-class manager. You're saying that they've lost, they're not playing with 2 recognised centre-backs. I get that. But when you play in a system like Liverpool, who have been playing this system for how many years, that won trophies and so forth, players can slot into that team. Don't get me wrong. I said to Sean on the watch along, we need to take advantage of Henderson and Fabinho. I said it so many times, and we didn't really until the last sort of minutes. But you got to also understand that this is Liverpool. Even if they're playing with 2 centre backs that aren't centre backs, they're still a formidable team. So to come and say, well, we should have smashed them up, like, it's just. I think
it's a nonsense. It's a nonsense.
I don't think it's reasonable or realistic to think that we should have absolutely got the points easy. See you later. So
no one said get the points easy, but when you look at that game, based on that 90 minutes, there were clear evidence to say that you could have gone and gripped a point and controlled that game. We did not control that game whatsoever.
The only thing about that, Nature, is
How
that
do you control the game, Nature? How?
Yeah,
You retain the ball.
How?
You retain the ball in midfield.
You keep the ball in
How?
midfield and you pull
Aiden,
them out of position.
On that point, then, Aiden, how often do we retain and keep the ball against lower teams?
But this is
All
what I'm
the
saying.
time.
The reason why we can do it against lower teams is because they haven't got the quality to compete with us in midfield. And my point in this is, you've got to realise, I think people need to realise, Ole and this system has a ceiling. We can win all these smaller games. We can.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that. I'm saying Ole is 100% been a very good manager and made it so we're going to win the small games. But people need to understand, we'll keep on getting better at small games, but we won't get better at big games. We will not. Because if you don't have a system and you don't have ball retention, you won't. You just won't. There is no team that has ever been successful that does not retain the ball to some degree. The only successful team I can remember is counter-attacking Real Madrid the last few years ago. But they had one of the best players in the world of Ronaldo up front. And we have 2 IQ Rashford that just flunks chances every now and then. And my thing is, if you look at the big games, City, Liverpool, Leipzig, PSG, we've lost or drawn all of them. So there's nothing to me to indicate that after 2 years and £300 million spent, we're going to have one big game in the season where we dominate a team. That's not. That's
We
what
had
I'm
one
saying.
against Leipzig.
My point on that, Aiden, and I'll come to you, Sean, because I know you've been waiting, Sean. Really quickly on this, Aiden. My point, right, is that I'm not looking at every single game we played. I'm looking at this game. I'm analysing this game and what this game means for our season. Because if I start thinking about what happened 3 years ago, all the money we've spent, where we have to figure out where we are right now. As a Manchester United Football Club, we're not where we want to be. We're not playing the football we want to play yet. We haven't got the players we want to play yet. And we've still got a manager who I believe in, but he's still learning on the job, right? So if you take in all those 3 things I've just said, really, we can't think about everything there because at the moment, Aiden, we can't keep the ball. We can't.
Why is that?
No. This is the thing, Aiden.
I'll tell you why it is that.
That's the thing. We can go. That's a completely different conversation because I'm not talking about why we can't keep the ball. We all know we can't keep the ball. So, but if we know we can't keep the ball and we still play good against Liverpool and should have won it, for me, that's progress. If you look at the game itself, you can't take away the fact that we can't play good football. We can't. That's fine. That's a big conversation. That's a new video we can do.
You know what you're saying? Yeah.
Go on,
so what you're basically saying is, you're saying we know our limitations.
Yeah.
But we're still finding a way to be effective and
That's
win games.
That's what I'm saying.
Drawing isn't a thing effective.
Why are you not looking at that?
No.
Because what I'll say is,
okay. Yeah, Aiden. All right, I get what you're saying, but in that game, De Gea didn't have a save to make for 90 minutes. We were the only team who, if anyone was going to win that game, it should have been us. Okay, we didn't finish our chances. Yeah, Physio D. That's right. Anybody watching, smash a like, please subscribe and share the video. Help us to grow the channel, right? But what I'm saying is, I agree with what Dom's saying in the fact that we're still finding a way to be effective. But I want to go back to the earlier point that you said as well, because I feel like last season we were really super effective in the big games. We won a lot of them against City. We beat them 3 times out of 4 games, right? This season, it's flipped the other way around. And we're winning the small games because that was our Achilles heel. A lot of those games, like the Wolves that we had the other day, where it's 0-0, we were either losing or we were drawing. We weren't finding a way to get the win. We're doing that against the small teams. And to win the title, Aiden, you don't need to win the big games away from home. You could go to Anfield, take a point, make sure at Old Trafford you do the same, providing you're getting 3 points. If you win all the other games, you're gonna end up close or thereabouts. So we can still win the league by not losing these big games away from home and making sure we do the job out of home. Also, in terms of what you said about dominating possession, right, against the big teams, I would say about 80% of the matches we play, we are dominating the possession. We have more possession against the really top footballing sides, which we have to agree, right, Aiden? I think we all agree that Liverpool have been the best team, definitely in this league, if not Europe and the world for the last couple of seasons, right? Based on their achievements and what the points totals that they've accumulated. So what I'm saying is, against certain sides, even back in the day when Man United were winning the title season in, season out, when we came up against the Arsenal Invincibles, right? we were not the dominant possession side. The times when Arsenal won that 48-game unbeaten run where they had Reyes, Henry, all these players, we didn't dominate the ball because they were a better footballing side than us. That's just the facts.
No,
but we
disagree.
still found the way to win. And the way we used to win those games, Gary Neville, all those players used to kick lumps out of the players. Go back to 2008 when we won the Champions League, the semi-finals against that Barcelona team. At Old Trafford, we did not dominate possession.
Why would you against that Barca team? That makes no
on.
sense.
Yeah, but that's obvious.
Hold on. What I'm saying is, and the point I'm making is, you're saying we should dominate possession against big teams. That's a big team. We sat back, took the 0-0, and Paul Scholes comes out with a wonder goal. At Old Trafford, we're sitting back in 2 banks of 4. So what I'm saying is, against the best footballing side, sometimes you have to accept we're not going to be able to outplay, outpossession these teams, because simply what it comes down to for me is they have better players in the midfield.
They don't than us. Liverpool don't than us.
No, and they do. I would argue that till the cows come home.
Thiago was good.
Thiago Alcantara will walk into any team. He would
walk
into our midfield.
That's one player.
Didn't you see what he did to Fred and McTominay?
Okay, Sean, can I just say,
left, right, and centre.
Fred and McTominay should be playing.
Hold on. If you put Thiago Alcantara into our team and give Liverpool Fred or McTominay, the possession balance swings. It changes. It's
so
not
who
the
do you?
system.
Okay, so
it comes down to the quality
Thiago in our
of
team.
player.
Let Aiden
Who you taking out?
Yeah,
let Aiden speak, and then
comes down to quality of player.
Aiden, 30 seconds. I want to bring in a Liverpool fan. Guys, if you're just watching now, like the video. It really helps. And subscribe if you're new. Appreciate it. We're going to get Aiden's full thoughts for 30 seconds, then Naji's 30 seconds, and then we're going to bring in a Liverpool fan to shut us up and tell us, actually, have we said anything right from their view? Aiden, 30 seconds. Go, brother.
Firstly, they don't have better midfielders than us. The only reason why they have better midfielders than us is because Ole's picking the wrong ones. He's picking Fred and McTominay over Van der Beek and Matic. There is no reason why they should be starting at all. To say that Henderson, Wijnaldum, and Shaqiri are better midfielders than Pogba, Matic, and Pogba and Van der Beek. That's not true. Also, we won those games against Arsenal because we had attackers that took our chances. We have 2 IQ attackers, and other people have said this before. Rashford is not an IQ footballer. Pep made Sterling an IQ footballer. Ole cannot do that. He can make Rashford good at running at wingers, but he doesn't fix his deficiencies. And my issue is, I agree that we can win the title. Of course we can win the title by beating the smaller teams. But I'm saying my aim isn't to win 1 title. My aim is to win 4 Champions Leagues and 5 titles. And you don't do that by flunking all the big games. I understand that you guys are saying, yes, we can beat the smaller teams, and I'm not denying that. But over a 5 to 10 year period of domination, it does not work. I'm not looking at a 1-season wonder like Leicester, because we are Man United and we deserve to be winning 3 or 4 titles. You do not win 3 or 4 playing the way we do. You win 1. And we win 1 when the best team in Europe has Thiago and Henderson at centre-back. That's the only reason. Any other season, we would not. So you can't be so short-sighted and say, okay, we can win this season. Now, I'm not talking about just this season. I'm talking about next, the one after that, because I'm Man United and we deserve 10 years of dominance, not 1.
You know what, right? Just really quickly, because we got the Liverpool fan waiting. Aiden, I agree with everything you just said, because you know what we're doing? Without even knowing, we're complimenting each other. Me and Sean are talking about this game, not everything else, because we can talk about long-term, a different video. You're talking about long-term, which me and Sean actually agree with, and you and AG. So we're actually complimenting each other. Naji, give me 30 seconds. I really want to bring the Liverpool fan. Just 30 seconds.
Obviously, it sounds like he's talking long term, but you got to understand he's basing his points based off what he's seen in this 90-minute game, and what he's seen in this 90 minutes game is no different than other games that we've played. When you play, when you're I've always looked at every football team. Your spine from the centre backs to your midfielders, so your 2 centre midfielders. Obviously, this day and age now it's a CDM and your 2 centre midfielders and your 1 attacker. Right, so you got that diamond shape and your 2 backs. If your spine is weak, you're not winning games. And if you've not got football IQ on the outside, why are you laughing, bro?
Carry on. You know why?
Nah, bro, he's being disrespectful, bro. I said,
no, he's looking at the comments. What are you talking about? Carry on.
Oh, say no more. My bad. I thought he was laughing at man, fam. Anyway, yeah.
Nah, bro.
Oh my god.
All right, say no more. So I'll take that one back. No stress. But if your spine is that weak, how on earth are you expected to win games consistently playing in a certain style and manner? You're not going to do it. If you take out Matic, if you play Scott McTominay as a CDM, you have to play him with Van de Beek. Because when he played like that against Watford, as you saw, he gets the pivot, he gets the roam to move forward because you've got someone who's got an IQ in there. If you're not going to play that, then you have to play Matic and Pogba because Matic is the only CDM we have at the club. People saying he's at our best. No, he's our only CDM at the club.
Yeah.
Only CDM at the club who can play that role. So if you're going to play one CDM and you're going to play Pogba off the left centre midfield and Bruno or Van der Beek or even Scott, then you need someone behind who's got good football IQ who can play in the back pair together. Who were they? Bailly and Maguire. Then you're going to see more consistency. Then you're going to see more consistency. Then you're going to see a proper wave of attacks. Liverpool today, the way they play football, yes, they didn't have their best players, but you could see a consistency within how they attack, and it was working. Absolutely. We just defended because we had to protect
on that point. Let me on that point. Thank you, Neji. Let me just bring in a Liverpool fan now. I want to understand how we're feeling. Boys, I think we all have the same sort of long-term views. We want this club to be better. So do I. I want this club to play good football. I'm just taking it for what I see right now, and we've got a long way to go. Whoever's fault that is, we can talk about it another time, but we just got to take the point and move on. Liverpool fan, here we go. So last time for the preview, we brought in Iffy, and he was very confident. He said he weren't scared of Man United. Let's see how he feels now. Iffy, how's it going?
Here he is.
All right, lads. How we doing, lads?
Doing good, mate. Doing good. Iffy, I don't know where to start, mate. How are you, first of all?
I'm upset with that result.
Okay. Tell me.
I think it's similar to what we spoke about the other day. Like, I think you guys mentioned Firmino a lot.
Yeah, he was rubbish, man.
that first half, I think if he puts those chances away, we can maybe have been further on in the game. Who knows? But on the flip side of that, I'm looking at Rashford. I'm like, it's just as wasteful.
Yeah, we said this. We did say. So do you think you should have won?
Given the chances you guys had second half, no.
Okay. That feels nice. That feels nice. I'll put that on my cup of tea.
I think the 0-0 or the draw is a fair result based on the 90 minutes.
Okay, so all right, we've had a discussion a minute ago, and Aidan made some really good points. Sean did, Neji did, right? We're all in a kind of agreement, and I take everybody's points on board. I think I'm taking that all in and processing everything, and I'll think about it tonight. For me, right, we feel like that we should have done better against your centre-backs because they weren't centre-backs. Do you feel like we should take advantage of that?
Honestly, at halftime, I was speaking to another friend that I have that supports Man United, and I was just like, you guys, and it was before Michael Richards even said anything on Sky Sports. It was like, how can Man United be top of the league, be playing against a team like that with no defense or no recognized centre backs? Like, you guys didn't turn up. We had the ball the whole first half.
Exactly. Imagine we played with no centre backs.
If we played with no centre backs, we would have lost.
Imagine we played with no recognised centre backs. That's the level. That's the difference I'm talking about. This is the thing. Your team on paper was a shambles. It was injury hit. We've just turned up to Liverpool thinking, no, okay, a point is good. When evidently, yes, the start of the game, you got the nerves up. When the nerves are gone and you start to see where you can win the games, you start thinking, okay, this is for the taking. And as you respectfully and rightfully just said, you felt like you should have lost. So that means it's not wrong for anyone to say that those who wanted the 3 points are disappointed, because it's evident that based on what you've just said as well from an opposite fan, we should have taken those 3 points.
Nah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you should have taken the 3 points. I'm just saying you should have turned up.
Yeah, we did.
Correct me if I'm wrong, by all means. So when you said, like, obviously said based on the 90 minutes, a draw was fair, but based on the second half and those chances, like when you look at it, do you not, and you think obviously United should have won the second half, ultimately Liverpool the first half? But this is my point.
Yeah. I just think United, the Bruno Fernandes chance, should have scored that. Yeah, and the Rashford chance when Rashford was 5 yards ahead of Trent.
Yeah, and Pogba chance.
He should have scored that.
Rashford should have passed that to Cavani,
and he should have set up Cavani.
Yeah,
correct.
So Rashford had 2 chances. One of them was a definite goal scoring chance for me.
Pogba. What about?
Yeah, Pogba should have scored that. It was an awful. He should have scored that.
The volley
straight at your keeper.
Yeah. You know what's funny, right? Because all of us are saying the same thing. Like, this is not good enough long term. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's not good enough. Something needs to get better quick. But for the game, what we're doing,
I'm still here, guys. I got answer the door.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
For the game that we're doing, right? Oh, you back?
Yeah, she's
For
getting
the, game, for the game that we're doing right now, I'm taking the point because we didn't turn up properly. Does that make sense? Long term, we're not good enough. But because we didn't turn up properly, I have got to take the point and be happy with it. Do you see what I'm saying?
I've got to say, Dom, why long term, it's not good enough to go to Anfield in a season where you're top of the league, take a point, and coming away feeling like you should have had all three. What? Sorry, am I missing something here?
Wait,
Definitely missing something.
Am I missing something
here?
Are you guys? Is it a general consensus that you guys believe you should have taken 3 points today?
100%.
For me, yes, I do. Yes, I would say that for sure.
Aiden, AG, yeah.
Based on the second half, yes. Based on the first half,
second half.
Second half, obviously.
So based on 90 minutes, a draw is fair. But it's
and I'll
disappointing.
even say on the first half as well, because I'm going to say in the first half, as bad. Well, I wouldn't even say as bad as we were. I think tactically, that's how we set up to play, and I would say it worked because in the first half, De Gea again, you can have 100% possession. If you don't make our goalkeeper work, what is the point? And we didn't even need a goalkeeper. So in my eyes, people are saying, yeah, the first half was this, it was that. We still didn't have to do anything.
No, we had a lot to do still. There was a lot of shaky moments.
No, I'm saying our
Salah
goalkeeper had nothing to do.
Yeah, he would have been picking the ball out the net if Salah had put his on target. He dragged it
If
wide.
buts or maybes, man. If buts
yeah,
or maybes, we had nothing to do.
Ultimately, Liverpool had chances to win that first half easy. Way more than us. They had nine shots.
Firmino should have put
I'll just come back to that as well and say,
we had 9 shots.
To Iffy,
shots
in the first half. Did Liverpool have a chance that came anywhere close to the clear-cut chances that we made in the second half?
Yes.
I'd say Firmino had one.
Firmino had one, and from Salah's ability being one of the best right wingers in the world, his chance again. So there's two
I think
already.
that Firmino chance was harder than it looked because he was under a lot of pressure. To be honest with you,
Luke Shaw was man of the match.
Oh,
yeah, he was incredible. He was so good.
I tweeted out 20 minutes before we finished the game. I said this. I'm just tweeting this out early.
He was class, man. He was class.
Unbelievable.
Luke Shaw was absolute class. He kept Salah in his pocket, and I think, I will hold this card up every time. I think if we have Diogo Jota on the bench or starting, and we have DVD or Matip, and we can free Henderson to play either instead of Genie or Shaq, we win the game.
Yeah, facts. We don't stand a chance.
100. You know what though?
100%.
I'll be honest, bro. If Thiago wasn't playing, I'll be honest. I feel like we would have done that game off a lot quicker. That would have given us confidence to actually give you a go. Thiago for you, baller, absolutely. This is the difference. This is the difference when you have ballers who've got IQ who can do a job. Because Liverpool's team is depleted in their best areas, bro. Your Liverpool team's depleted without the world's best, and you've got a footballer IQ who's fitting inside a system, a working system that can pull strings. We haven't got that.
Thiago made
exactly,
Fred
Neji.
Fred,
so you made
Fred hasn't
point.
played
That's what I'm
Premier
saying.
League.
Sorry. If you go on.
Sorry, I was just saying. Thiago made Fred look like Fred was playing
this
Premier
is
League
what I'm
for the
saying.
first time.
It was
How do you expect to dominate possession?
Because this is the
Yeah, but Ole chose
up against a man like Thiago.
But
John chose them. He chose them. You can't say, how do you expect him, as if Ole hasn't got the option to coach them. This is the problem with Ole, because he can't coach players. No, it is. No. Can I just say something? It is about coaching. It's 100%.
Man.
Okay, wait. The only reason why Fernandes and Pogba doesn't work in the midfield, hasn't worked for us, is because Ole does not know how to do a 2-8 advanced system. You need one inverted fullback and you need wide wingers. Ole cannot coach a midfield. The only reason why we're not dominating possession is because he's putting bad players in. That if you put Van der Beek and Matic in and Fernandes at the 10, we would dominate possession. But Ole cannot coach it. You can't use how do you expect us to win with Fred and McTominay when we have Van der Beek and Matic on the bench? That's not an excuse.
I never said that. I never said, how can we win? I said, how do you expect to dominate possession? There's a difference.
But that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. You can't say how.
I'm saying you need better players. I'm
we
saying
have better players on the bench.
Let me ask you a
That's where we
question here,
disagree.
guys.
That's
Down
where we
chapter
disagree.
West, man.
I don't think Van der Beek is as good as you tried to make him out to be.
Oh,
And I
You
don't
got
think
no
Second
respect for the
coming.
guy, bro. You
I
got
don't
no
think
respect for the
no.
guy.
I don't think
Hey,
that's
guys,
the coming of
guys,
Jesus
by
Christ.
the way,
And I will stand by that, and I will stand on it 100%.
1 second, guys. Just a quick one. Just a quick disclaimer, right? We're all football fans here, okay? Let's not disrespect anybody's opinions or think it's something else. Everybody's got different opinions.
Correct.
Everybody sees the games differently. If someone's got views,
100%.
fine, but don't ever disrespect it or just wash it away, right? Everybody's got a different view of the game. It's all valid. Everybody's got valid points, okay? Quick question to Aiden, right? And I want to get your thoughts on this as Iffy, as an outside fan, right? We keep getting this thing that's saying that I rate Van der Beek so much, guys. I mean, Donny is everything I want in a footballer. Easy, IQ, simple passes, flicks, work rate, baller, right? But for me, Donny is not a CDM, right?
Neither is Scott.
Well, yeah, well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Go on, King.
Donny is not a CDM. And for me, right, the reason Ollie plays Scott is because he's a combative box-to-box player. He's playing him as a kind of fake CDM player because he's tall. He's very combative. He's more combative than Donny, 100%. And he's more tall than Donny. And he's played that CDM position much longer than Donny, right? Donny, for me, is not a CDM and couldn't do the defensive work as well as Scott McTominay does. But the problem is that
100.
Van der Beek is better at possession football, okay? I think the problem is, right, we've got Van der Beek on the pitch, but really, Van der Beek shouldn't be there. Scott McTominay shouldn't be there. Really, we need someone else who's actually a CDM.
Better.
So we haven't got that player.
We have Matic. We have
Van der Beek. If you go watch against Watford and you watch him in the defensive areas, his spatial awareness, his football IQ allows him to be put himself in the right positions. Too many times, Scott McTominay is looking over his right shoulder and then going, "Oh shit, I need to go and get my man." Van der Beek's already in the right positions. At Ajax, he played 6, he played 8, and occasionally he played 10. At Ajax, you were taught every midfield position. I don't know how many of you guys go in Sean Maydew because I know he does football coaching. So when you watch Ajax's football setup, you watch their midfielders. Every one of those players can play those positions. We're not saying it's Donny van der Beek's best position, but because it's not Scott McTominay's best position, we can now have this honest argument. So when Scott McTominay is playing there, well, I mean, if we go off the facts that you've just said, Dom, about his tall, energetic, we're talking about physicality. We need football IQ in those positions.
It's passion merchants.
Sorry,
No,
back in the day, we grew up on footballers playing that deep line, right? Okay, let's take Thiago. Look at his frame and size, football IQ, Pirlo, Xavi. The list goes on. Paul Scholes could even play a deeper line. Even Ryan Giggs had to play CDM a few times.
Yeah, it's not just physicality. It's the way that Ollie at the moment wants to play. He wants to play.
This is the problem. This is the problem.
No, Dom. I don't think he wants to play that way.
Let Dom finish.
Right? At the moment, we're not a possession-based footballing team. We're not a possession-based footballing team because we're not playing the players who actually keep the possession, right? So Ollie's not playing that football. So that's why he's not playing Donny. Say we had a manager now, say Klopp, Kenny went, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to manage Manchester United." Klopp is playing, if he hadn't got any other centre-back, CDMs or box-to-box midfielders, he's playing Donny van der Beek as a CDM because the whole team will be playing more possession football. That's what I mean in terms of that. For now, I think Ollie doesn't want to put Van der Beek there because Ollie sees Van der Beek as an attacking, overlapping, overrunning, attacking player, not as a CDM. That's the difference.
I know what you mean, but I just want to say that I think the problem is like Van der Beek. If Klopp came in, he wouldn't be playing McTominay. He wouldn't be playing Fred. Do you know what he'd play? He'd play Matic. He'd play Van der Beek box to box. And he'd play Fernandes or Pogba in the 8.
I agree.
That's what
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
But my problem is this is my issue. Like, I'm not looking to win one PL. Let's say we kept with this midfield 3, and this is what you guys. I think people would think is too short term. If you said, let's keep on playing with this midfield, and we won versus all the small teams, and we won the league this year. That's great. It would the season after we would be demolished. What happened to Leicester?
No,
they won the league. The next season, they absolutely got demolished. They got demolished. What we need to be doing this season is building on a possession-based football style. Because if we don't win the league this year, we're more likely to win it for 4 or 5 years in a row. Yeah. That is the difference. And you're saying, let's play Fred McTominay and win this league. If you tried to build a possession-based system, within a year, you win 5 leagues in a row. It's short-term pain for long-term gain. And people are not thinking
If you
long-term.
look at the strongest teams in the
In
world
the league.
football,
And if you
look at
the
world
midfield.
football.
Look at the midfield.
Aiden, you're gonna always be upset as long as Ollie's in the manager's chair at Man United. You're always gonna be upset because he's never going to try and play.
Yeah, he can't. That's
this
not him.
possession.
Then he shouldn't be in the manager. He shouldn't be the manager.
He's never going to play
That's a
like
different
Liverpool.
question.
He's never
That's a
going to play
different
like
question.
Pep. He's never going to play like Pochettino. He's never going to play that style.
He's never.
Then he should be the manager.
That's a
No, but
different
he's
question.
winning.
The manager.
But he's winning, and he will. What he will
It's,
bring, he will bring a style that will allow us to win. We will dominate possession against most 85% of teams, but against the very top footballing sides like your Man Cities and like your Liverpools. We're never gonna under this manager. We will never dominate.
Yeah, we're not going to
like
say
that.
yeah.
And I've got not a problem with that. But we can still win games like that. You don't
But
have
this-
possession.
this
Let me
is
bring
why-
it in. Let me bring it in for a
Possession
second.
doesn't mean
Yeah,
winning.
get iffy.
You can win without having possession of the football.
Let me bring it for.
And that's
You've
all I
heard
care
it, right?
about.
You've heard it right. You've heard different views, and I know what Aiden's saying that we need to start changing the game now. But at the same time, we're playing with a manager that don't want to do possession football. Okay, fine. So we've got to deal with what we got. What do you, as an outside fan, Iffy, what do you see us as Manchester United? Where are we going to be? What are we trying to be? Do you think we should stick with Ollie? Do you see something different?
That's the best question. That's the best question. I think Aiden, I can appreciate the passion and the knowledge behind what you're saying as well.
Absolutely.
But I also think, I'm not saying you're not being realistic, but as someone that's already experienced this, like think about Liverpool not winning trophies for several years. I'm 30 years old now. So I've seen like us not win it for a long time compared to watching Dominic every flipping year. You feel me? So that being said, I feel like you have to swallow the bitter pill and understand where the team is right now and understand that you're top of the table. Regardless of how you're playing, you're top of the table. I would have taken that 3 seasons ago. You feel me? So that being said, take it, embrace it for however long you're going to be there because City's going to win the league.
Hey, come on, Tom, get him out of here right now.
But let me finish. Let me finish. Just understand that you are definitely on an upward trajectory. Like you're not, like you're definitely like Liverpool are looking at you like, okay, these guys are they're here to play now. Like,
yeah,
you feel me? Like regardless of what squad we had today, I still feel like we should have beat you and we didn't.
Fact. And Aiden, this is what I'm trying to say, bro.
Let me just for this quickly, I'll bring you in 2 seconds.
Go on, bro.
That's all good, bro. I'm gonna let you go. I know you need to go for dinner, man. But I appreciate you, mate. I appreciate you so much, man. We should have absolutely smashed you. I'll leave you on that one.
Have a good one, guys.
Take it easy.
All right, cool, guys. Thanks so much for joining again. Please like and subscribe if you're new. We're going to go to an AG. Give me some points, AG. I know you wanted to talk about something.
Yeah, so I was just saying to Aiden, and Aiden, this is where I'm on the side of what Sean Dom is saying and then what you're saying. This is why I said Ollie for the rebuild, not Ollie forever. I spotted this from the moment we got Ollie in. This is why I've always been consistent from United stand, from when I did my first cam there up until now. I said Ollie for the rebuild, not forever. He can build this team back up because what we need is a foundation being built. And we're reaping the success off this small foundation Ollie is building. But I 100% agree that long term, when he gets a full team, I know we will need the next step up. And I know 100% Ollie tactically, in my opinion, again, won't be able to have that savageness and that knack to win when needed or to go and chase a win. You look at the teams he's putting out there, he doesn't have it in his locker. Now, he could learn that by the time he gets his full team. That's cool. And if he does, he gets back the same way. But this is why I've always had my reservations with Ollie, because long term, as you're talking, I cannot see this style of football factually winning us championships or trophies season after season. It doesn't last. Because if you're going to get outplayed and you haven't got the ball, then more time you have less chance of scoring. And Sean was talking about high percentage of football. most of our wins have been around 46, 47% possession. So it's been 50-50 games when we've won. So when we've got the ball, we actually do tend to struggle. In the second half, we're the team that scores the most at the end. And I personally put that down to one, a mindset of keep going, a mindset of we can still get something out of this. And three, the case of we're top of the league, we need to hang on. If we're like 6th or 7th, do I think they'd have that mentality in the last 10, 15 minutes to go and get it up? Or they're thinking, I need to sit back because we don't want to lose points again? It's these questions that make me question Ollie.
Right.
Can I ask an AG question quick?
Can you just do? I'm going to get to comments quickly, Sean. And you can answer it. I just want to make sure people involved in this. Guys, thanks so much for watching again. Just go through some of the comments and see what guys are saying. Carl, I must focus on one negative. We have no idea how to take a line out and maintain possession of ball. Ollie must have his game. I think we've all agreed that we need the players to do that. So let's get the players, and Ollie will buy next summer. So let's see what happens then. I'll put it this way: would Pep be angry at the point at Anfield if there was 3 points clear of Liverpool? How about Jose, Conte, and Poch? It's true. Pep would actually be like, yeah, we move on, we press on. But I guess it's the manner of how we're playing these games, which is
ahead of us.
Yeah. Jeffrey, yes, Ollie doesn't want another CDM. I think he does. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to say that name, but thank you so much, bro. Aiden and Neji, you can't play possession baseball against Liverpool. Man City always got battered, and recently sitting back and playing counter against them. Spiritual Lexi, Ollie, you're so trash. I can't even. Okay. Sufan, we aren't Leicester, bro. We've had possession against the smaller teams. We need to build on that. Our players are better, and so is our spending power. Yes, true. EJ's agreeing with Sean. Ahmed, this is a good point. I'm not upset, man. Huge point. Just a big chance that we didn't take. Yeah, it's hard. I get that. All said and done, right? And let's talk this back. All said and done, a point. We move. Fulham's a bigger game now. Yes, guys. If we lost this game, this would be a completely different stream. Completely and utterly different stream because we lost to someone playing with no centre backs, right? We've got a point. So from my view, I'm being positive about it. If I wanted to be negative, I don't really want to be on this or critical. I could say to myself right now that we should be doing better against a team who had no centre backs. We should be further along in our progress over the last 3 years of all the money we spent. I can easily say that we should have a style of football that is bang on, and we know it. It's very interesting. We can say it with a label, easy as day. But I can see right now our progression is slower than it needs to be, but there's still progression. 100%. Liverpool would have turned up to this game thinking, I don't care we're playing two centre backs. We're still going to smash Man United because they haven't got a really possession. They don't know where everybody's playing. Ollie's a little bit of an inexperienced manager. We're still going to mop them up. But Ollie came and actually beat. Well, for me, I feel like we beat them and we should have beat them. And Ollie's actually come out right. Ollie in the old days would have said, "Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah." Ollie would have said in the old days, "Oh, it's a good point. We move on." Ollie said, "We didn't deserve to win that game. We weren't good enough."
That's a good quote.
That's good. Mentality for me. He's changed.
Yeah.
You know, when Ollie does an interview and he goes, we wait for the next question. He's always like, oh, yeah. You know, he's always happy like that. He's like, oh, yeah, good one. Yeah. Now he's like, mate, we weren't good enough. And I'm going to go back to the change rooms. I'm going to buy more players. I'm going to get a philosophy. I already got rid of Sanchez. Fellaini, see you later. I brought in Amad Diallo, who could be an absolute baller. Let's see what happens. I'm trying to get a philosophy. I'm playing with Pogba, who really shouldn't be playing because I want to win games. I'm playing with Martial. I'm getting Rashford scoring goals even when he's not playing well. I see progression. So for me, take the point and move on.
Yeah, 100. I think
that's what I'm saying.
More comments.
Yeah. All right. So Harveen, you can have possession just by passing sideways, but you need a proper system without the ball 100%. If Ollie gets a full or a team full of good IQ players, yes, of course.
He would be coming off the bench easily. Easily. Easily, bro.
Could you imagine if we had like those IQ players? Because you know what people were saying? Oh, why can't we do this? We haven't got IQ players. Guys, give me a list in our team of players who have IQ.
Okay.
Pogba, yep.
Pogba, Bailly, Martial,
Telles,
Van de Beek, Telles,
borderline,
that's
8%.
Cavani and Greenwood, that's it. Fernandez,
Do you think Greenwood's got enough IQ already?
Oh yeah, mate.
Yeah?
If you watch Greenwood, I think Greenwood hasn't got the IQ of a 9, but he has the IQ
Yeah.
of a good footballer.
Yeah,
that's
A
the
football player.
Yeah.
He hasn't
Yeah.
got the IQ of a 9
Yeah.
yet, but he needs to be
I
taught
think
that.
I think that's the same as Bruno. Though, to be fair, he's clear.
He's a top
Bruno
player.
thinks too fast ahead. He can see something, and then he reacts to his mindset.
He hasn't got the tech to pull it off. Like,
So what,
I think he's got the tech, but I don't. Say again.
Do you think Bruno's got IQ, Neji?
I think Bruno has the IQ. I think what it is that the way he processes when I watch him play. Because if you look at I look at consistency in the positive, consistency in the negatives. When I see him play these balls, whether he makes them or not, if you look at that picture, you think that is a great ball if it makes it happen. He's seen that, and he sees that over and over again. However, him pulling it off,
and he sees it quicker than everyone else.
And because he sees it so quick, it's instinct. He reacts to it rather than going, "I seen it, but let me just."
So you know what it's like when you've got a really rubbish computer, right? You borrowed it from your gran and it's like 10 years old. You press the letter A and it takes about 10 seconds for the A to show up. It's like one of those ones, right? You press the thing, but nothing happens. He knows what he wants to do. But by the time
he pressed A a long time ago, bro.
Yeah, the thing is though with Bruno is like I think that he needs coaching, and I think this is a problem, and it's going to upset some people, but I think no team that's ever won anything consistently has played with inverted strikers. They play with defensive fullbacks and they played with 2 DMs. You cannot have a single 10 has an outlet. But this is the thing, Carl Lewis. How many of them has he got this season versus the Big Six? Leipzig didn't score. PSG in the second leg he didn't score. He didn't get any semi-final goals. I think Rashford has got bottled, but you have to go back years to find it. But this is the thing. Look, okay, can I actually bring up a stat here? This is good. How many open play goals do you think Bruno has versus the entire traditional top 6, both legs of Leipzig and PSG, and all the semi-finals? How many open play goals do you think he has?
6.
1. And this is the problem when you're looking at his stats. He has 1, bruv, and he has 2 assists. That's it. And this is the problem when you're looking at stats. They pop up versus all these smaller teams, but in the big games, he doesn't do it.
Well,
and
this
is
what I said. That's what I said.
Kyle's just looking at numbers and he's coming with a conclusion.
Sorry, but it's the manner. It's the manner in which you get these stats. There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. And my problem is Bruno is a floor raiser. Pogba is a ceiling raiser. Bruno will get you to a decent level where you beat the teams consistently. But in a big game, I trust Pogba more to turn up. If you look at his big game record, it's better than Bruno's. Yeah. And it's the thing with Ole. It's like my problem for me is if we don't think Ole can be the coach that we want him to be, why really is he here? Because if we're saying Ole for the rebuild, if Ole stays to the end of the season rebuilds and we get another manager, we'll have another 2 years of a rebuild. So what are we waiting for? If he can't win the PL and can't be good for 10 years, then what are we waiting for?
Sean, you come in this.
Yeah, because this is nicely onto the question I wanted to ask Neji about 10 minutes ago, and I just held it. But my question was, and it flows nicely into that.
I want to talk about Luke Shaw after this. It's really important.
I personally believe, and again, that Ole is the manager for the future, and I believe he will take us to titles and success. I don't think he's just here for the rebuild. I think you've got to believe in him. And what I hear from Neji is that he doesn't fully believe that Ole's the guy to take us back to where Man United, we all feel that Man United should be, which is fair enough. But I wanted to ask him, the reason I wanted to answer the question is that, if you go back 12 months, right, when we just, lost to Burnley 2-0 at home, Ole was close to losing his job. We just signed Bruno, or we hadn't signed Bruno yet. Could you ever envisage the finish that we would have had to last season to get us in the top 4? Would you ever envisage Ole getting us there? Would you ever envisage us 12 months ahead being 3 points clear at the top of the league and seeing the progress that has been made? And I'm saying, again, give Ole another 12 months of progression, another 12 months of new signings, another 12 months working with these players. Where could we potentially be? Could we see
that makes
more
sense.
Improvements?
He's saying
that's the question. That's the question I want to put out.
But that's a good question. But you forget that I'm an Ole inner, so you have to understand that.
No,
I've supported Ole even when he was going for a rough patch. I understand, and I've been backing. I think we had a conversation first time around after, where I've always said this manager Ole needs to be backed by the board. The issue is the board for me, nothing else, because this manager is rebuilding the team. So I look at stages and phases, right? And in stages and phases, as much as I want trophies and titles long term, I have to understand the process of how it happens. Now, I understand that Manchester United has been absolutely slapped down to its knees and it's on its hands now, with his face facing the floor.
Yeah.
All he's had to come in, and people don't really give him the credit for this. He's had to unstrip David Moyes' issues, unstrip Jose's issues, unstrip Van Gaal's issues, and to an extent, Ryan Giggs, if you want to say he had an input, which I don't think he did, right? Okay, put Giggs to one side. This job has to be done before you can even talk about trophies, because you've got to really put in the ethos of what Sir Alex Ferguson built into Man United. That's been stripped out by managers and this board. Now we've had incredible managers come in with a CV better than any, haven't been able to do the job. Why? Because you've got a board that is incompetent, so you won't get backed and supported.
Yeah.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the only manager / person in a managerial role who understands the foundation and the DNA of Man United.
And he's a Manchester United fan, AG. He's a Manchester United fan as well.
You've actually changed my opinion slightly for the first time in months.
So what I look at is Ole has to rebuild this team. Now, how do you go about rebuilding the team? I look at Klopp, I look at Pep. They get every bit of money they want and pretty much go for their first choice player every season. Ole has not been able to do that at all. He's been given third choice players and Ed Woodward's choices of players. Jose Mourinho did not want Pogba. He even said that himself. Ed Woodward went and bought him. It's the same.
He didn't get a centre back either.
No, so ultimately,
he came out recently and said those three players weren't his signings either.
Precisely.
Wan-Bissaka, he said, "Oh yeah," and then my signings that came in.
There you go.
I think
this is my point. Ole is done. Sorry, but let me land. So what Ole has done in the space of time, no other manager could do.
He's done
especially
amazing.
Without the backing. There's no chance of happening. So when people are asking for a new manager, it doesn't make no sense to me.
This is what I always say.
I don't want a new manager anymore.
You've got to understand where Ole is, what he's had to do, and what he's doing right now. And what he's doing right now with everything he can. To me, he achieved the most he could ever achieve last season without being backed. No manager's done that. Right now, he is achieving the most he can do without being backed in the way he has. I don't know a manager that can do it.
You agree with us then?
Yes, this is my point. But what I'm saying to you, this is why I was siding with Aiden. This is why I said Ole for the rebuild, because clearly he can do the rebuild. This is where all my support goes to him. So I want him to stay in. I've looked past getting trophies. I've even looked past getting the title this season and going, use that as bait to go on next season. We can win it. I look past it. Yeah. We're on a rebuild right now. And this is a lot of the reason why I've been saying our team is still struggling down that right-hand side. So why people are begging for Grealish, I get it. But right now, part of a rebuild requires a foundation. So if you buy the right winger, that is ultimately not a Diallo, not coming in hope, you've got a classified winger who's played Champions League, performed in Champions League, has got the ability to be there for 10 years, then I'll start going, right, okay, Ole, when you've got your team, then I'll start saying, right, okay, let me see if you can now find a style of football that is going to be consistent enough to win those trophies based on the foundation you've already built. Because right now, our foundation is still broken. And I feel like we're trying to jump too far ahead.
And this is my point, right? And honestly, Nagy, what you said, completely and utterly, mate, you literally took the words out of my head, had a party and had a freaking, I don't know, some orange juice up in there, right? You said that so eloquently well, right? This is why my point, though, that I feel like Ole's not playing Van de Beek. I don't want to go back to it. I want to talk about Luke Shaw for the last bit. But the reason he's not playing Van de Beek for me is that Ole's actually a lot smarter than people give him credit for, right?
Yeah.
He's not playing Van de Beek because he knows that we don't play the football that Van de Beek plays. We don't play possession-based football.
That's a fair point.
Why are we going to put Van de Beek, who's basically, we got all these yellow little dots, right? And we got Van de Beek, who's green, and we're like, oh yeah, he'll slot in. Van de Beek is used to pass and go, move at triangles. The players that we have at the moment playing alongside him don't play that football. So why would Ole put Van de Beek, who will probably, then the worst thing will happen, Van de Beek will actually lose his class. We would actually take off Van de Beek.
To answer your question, Dom, I think this is the point. This is where I have a question about whether Ole's going to be good enough for the future. Because until he starts finding a way of how to use Van de Beek and use these type of IQ players, I don't feel that whether it's now, in a year's time, 2 years' time, he's going to be able to hold on to his job and take us to the next level then. So when we've got this full team...
But at this point, this is the thing, he's buying players every year, right? What if he's waiting to get the right players so that he can play with Van der Beek?
Well,
Okay, can I just say, Dom?
That is hindsight.
Yeah.
Can I just
That
say?
is hindsight, but I respect it. It could
Can
happen.
I just say? I know what you're saying about he needs players, but Leeds, although they're losing, I know they are. Sheffield United at times. Sheffield United. Also, who was it? Who was I thinking of? Oh, Southampton. Southampton don't have the best players, but they still knock the ball around her. I get what you're saying. I get. No, wait. Southampton like 4 points behind us, man. Wait.
No, sure. They do play good football. I know what Aidan's saying.
Southampton's 4 points behind us, and look at the players they have compared. We have Cavani. They have. Like, wait. I know what you're saying, but if a manager was capable of doing that, you would see some indication now. Like with Hasenhüttl, you know that if he had the players, he could be really good. You would have a small indication that he could because of the players we have. I get what you're saying, but you would have some indication, and we haven't got an indication of it yet. Was it?
Oh,
yeah, I'm telling you, see, they're literally going to go ahead of us if they win the next game. Okay, also, I want to say, I do agree with what you're saying, Dom. I would agree in my head with what you're saying. But the reason why I can't is because I think Ole just doesn't drop players unless it's obvious to him. I know what you're saying about. I don't think he's thinking that deeply. I don't think he is. Because if you look at the Twitter account and they're retweeting Scott McTominay, they just see a big British lad with a lot of passion and they like playing. James, how long did it take James to get dropped for Greenwood last season? It took him about 2 months. How long is it? Lindelof came back.
Then you know what, Aidan? On that though, Ollie's doing things he weren't doing in the first year, 6 months or year.
He is because he's still dropping He's still dropping Bay for Lindelof.
No.
Still not finishing passes.
I think that by Lindelof it was different. I think he could have played. If you look at it now, Lindelof didn't do anything worse.
Yeah,
like, we're not playing by hand.
The only reason why Lindelof looked bad is because we didn't look bad. Is because we didn't play expansive football. If you try and play expansive football,
no, I don't think we did that.
People wonder why Wan-Bissaka has been so bad. It's because we're not playing It's because we're playing more expansive football.
No, we weren't allowed to play. We weren't allowed to play expansive football because
we weren't allowed to play them because we have a manager that picks players that can't. Because we weren't allowed to pick them because we have a manager that picks players that we can't. Can I just say? Yeah. I completely agree. Look, I don't want people to think that I'm one of those people that's like, I hate Ole, I hate Bruno, I hate Rashford. I'm not that person. I appreciate what Ole's done. People, I think, disrespect him around my age. I'm only 18. I was 18 in August. That he was a legend for the club. And I'm not disputing that. He was brilliant. And I think people need to give him some respect. I also think he's done a very good job of sifting out the deadwood. Fossey Mensah's going out. Rojo's leaving.
No, wait a minute.
So good.
Mensah another deal, but you rejected it.
Yeah. But anyway, he's sifting out the deadwood. He's done it too consistently for it to be a facade. He is doing it well. He's also doing little bits like getting European players. So I am appreciating what he says. I don't want people to think that I'm a complete deluded Ole hater. I do like him. And,
So what do you want, Aidan?
You want to see better football. You just want to see better football.
I want to see better football.
No, hold on. No, this word better I have an issue with. You want to see a different style of football.
No, it's just better.
It's not necessarily better. It's not necessarily better.
It is better.
Edwin, what's the beginning of the show, mate? We were absolutely buzzing about this. So watch the beginning of the show when you can, bro.
There you go, man. Yeah, because me and Dom go back and forth on this because in my mind, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, the best football is football that wins. Whether you have 100% possession or not.
Then do you like Mourinho? Do you like Mourinho?
He's a winner. He's a winner.
So you think it's but then you with your argument, you would have kept Mourinho then because you said the best football.
No.
You would have kept Mourinho with that argument.
No, he has other flaws. His man management, to me, is not as good as Ollie's.
Look
at the harmony in the dressing room.
And
he had the players in disarray. He publicly criticised the players. So if Mourinho was winning, and we were successful, and the team was harmonious, I would have still said keep him. But my reasons for getting rid of Mourinho were completely different. I feel that Ollie is, and I personally think Ollie plays much better football than Mourinho. It's more direct, it's more attacking.
But he doesn't win trophies.
Intent. Pardon?
Because you said it. But the thing is, can I just say something? You just contradict yourself. No, but you just said it's about winning. That's what you just said. And then you've just said that Ollie plays better football than Mourinho. But it's not about playing better football. It's about winning trophies. Mourinho won a Carabao Cup and he won a Europa League. So I don't know. Is it about winning or is it about playing better football? Because Mourinho is a winner.
Mourinho, when he left the club, he started off very well, but look how it ended with him, right?
That's what happened.
I personally, well, I don't think it will. That's your opinion. I think Ollie's going to take us to trophies. He's got 4 semi-finals. He's this
Four
close.
losses.
All we need to do, there's a few little things that need to tweak to turn those losses into wins. We're very close, mate. Look at the league table.
Well, let's look at this, right? I think
at the league table.
said it right.
I respect you.
If I round up everything, we've got a mixture of Ollie's the right man to rebuild this Manchester United, and you can see he's rebuilt us into a massive effect. There's harmony. We're playing better football than we used to 2 years ago. Massively, we're getting better players in.
We've got an identity back, Dom. Like
Yes,
people are hating us again, and I like it.
I like it,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And at the same time, we always want our team to do better. I'm a little bit like Sean. I feel like if Ollie's done what he's done from that platform, what can he do in another year's time? I'm excited about it. And plus, there's no one else who I want. Ollie's a Manchester United fan. I love that he cares about it. Mourinho didn't support Manchester United. David Moyes didn't support Manchester United. Louis van Gaal did not support Manchester United. We've got a manager who supports his team and actually has an intrinsic desire to see his team well. I'm here for it. Guys, let me just finish on this. Luke Shaw, let me just say, Luke Shaw, you are an absolute unreal machine. You are just you are freaking Neo from Matrix. You are freaking unbelievable, mate. You go and have yourself a good time tonight, man. Get some Chinese, get some sweet and sour Hong Kong style chicken. You enjoy it, mate, because you were unbelievable. Luke Shaw had one of the best games I've ever seen, and that amount of hate that he came from, he had so much hate for years. Jose basically bullied him. I hate that, but he's come back from the depths, and he's shown that he's an elite footballer. As Sean said on the watch along before this, he needs to play for England. So from United Sauce and Wingers, well done, Luke Shaw. I salute you, brother. Please follow me on Twitter. It's never going to happen. All right. It's never going to happen. Guys, thank you so much for joining. We're going to be back. When are we going to be back? What's next, lads? What's next?
We got Fulham.
On Saturday.
And then we've got Liverpool again.
Wednesday. Fulham Wednesday.
Fulham Wednesday. So we'll be back for the preview probably on Monday.
I'm at Diablo to get some minutes.
Tomorrow.
Liverpool next Sunday.
Yeah, we got Liverpool again. Oh my god!
Oh god! If we lose that, no, mate.
Mate, we're doing so good, man. I'll bring on Liverpool, but yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night for the preview for Fulham. We'll beat Fulham easy. Don't talk to me about anything.
No, respect, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for going, guys. Take 2 seconds to like the video. It really helps, and share it and subscribe if you're new. We appreciate you. We thank you. Watch the whole video if you came in halfway, because there's loads of different views, and it's really, really good to see all different views. But thank you so much for joining, guys. Sean, Grow Football on Twitter, follow him. Naji Sunshine 47 on Twitter, follow him. Aiden, it's UTD Aiden on Twitter, follow him. So, guys, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you guys. Have a lovely evening, and let's take the points and get free on Flicking Wednesday.
Still top, boys. Still top.
Top of the league.